In this video we're going to review the Scouring of the Shire supplement. Hello viewers, welcome to another review. In this we're going to be looking at the recently released Scouring the Shire supplement for Middle-earth strategy battle game. Now what we're going to do in this, we're going to have a look at the supplement itself, and then we're going to sort of have a look back at the old Scouring the Shire and just see how it compares to this one, what's been added, what's missing from it and so forth. Now this was my favourite supplement that was released so far. I just really love it. I love the Shire, I love the sort of the models that came out of it, so I'm really excited for this one. It's hardback compared to the softback of this one, and you can sort of already see it's a bit thicker. There's a bit more, seems to be a bit more in this, so let us have a look, shall we, at the actual book. So this is the actual, what the book looks like. It's, if you've got any of the other books, it's in the same sort of style as that. So here's the Army's book. So it's same sort of style, so it's going to look great together. On your bookshelf you can see the spine's going to look brilliant, just a little pointless thing. It opens up, and you open up with this lovely map of the Shire, really nice and detailed. Now if we go back instantly to this old one, the map here is, you can see it's nice, it's just not that nice compared to this. And we open up with the contents. Now I've deliberately filming it quite bright with a light on, so you really can't see the words. So I don't think Games Workshop would appreciate if I go page by page and you can see all the words. So forgive the sort of slightly washed out look. And there has an introduction, history of the Shire, scenarios, Scouring the Shire campaign, armies, legendary legions, traps, how to build a hobbit hole, and an appendix. So in the scenarios there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 scenarios. So that's really nice, quite a nice lot. I don't think the original had that many. One thing to note on the original is the contents were just laid out as in blah. There's no sections in it. So let's just quickly go through the old one and just see how many scenarios there actually were. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 scenarios in the actual main bit, and the appendix had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's more in the appendix, but less in the actual proper scenario section, which is, I don't know, probably a lot more work and effort gone into this one. So it starts off with a history of the Shire, and it has a tale of years. The old one had something similar. It had a section on concerning hobbits, Scouring the Shire, and then I think later on towards the end, when it gets to these sort of appendix scenarios, there is, history of the Shire and a tale of years. So bit more fluff in the old one, but this is better written. But let's get on to the scenarios. It opens up with a skirmish in Bree. So it's a scenario set in Bree, and I love Bree, so this is brilliant for me. What I am noticing already in the scenarios is there's probably a bit more detail in the background of the scenarios to make up for the lack of fluff, I guess. Anyway, this one is on a 2x2 board in Bree with the pony in the middle. The forces are going to be made up of, in this you have Bree villagers, 8 Bree villagers. So we have a stat here for a Bree villager. Now, just out of interest, I actually, on the Tales of Middle-earth website, created some Bree villagers for a scenario myself. So I just want to, while we're doing comparing it to the old one, I thought we might compare it to some of the stuff that I've written as well. So looking at mine, I've made mine really weak. I mean, strength of 1. Mine were designed not to fight at all. Mine, in the scenario that I wrote them for, you were meant to be protecting the villagers. So mine are quite different to this. Courage is the same, wounds and attacks are the same, but the strength and defense in the ones included here are way better. They even count as armed as daggers, whereas mine are totally unarmed. So yeah, you've got 8 Bree villagers and 4 Hobbit militia. Now, the evil is made up of, has Bill Fernie, which is going to be a new profile. It's made up of ruffians, so that's going to be nice. And it's a good force down to 25% type thing. We won't go into the objectives too much actually, because you know, you want to buy it yourself, I reckon, and play it yourself. So that's that one. Next is the Ruffians Arrive. Again, this is played on a 2x2 board. So that is pretty cool, because sometimes I get a bit bored of big boards and loads of models, and it's why the original Scouring Shire was one of my favourites. And this is set just sort of just by the Brandywine Bridge. So you have a river and a bridge going across. It's made up of hobbits with some new profiles: Holford, Bracegirdle, and Robin Smallborough. Again, Bill Fernie, Lothro, Sackville Baggins, and some ruffians. So we're definitely off to a good start of these scenarios. There isn't a counterpart to this in the old one, and the same with Bree, there wasn't. But this one, next on Maggot's Farm, I believe there was a counterpart to this in the old one. And this one is a 4x2 board set on Maggot's Farm, and it's Farmer Maggot with his dogs, 3 dogs, and some ruffians. And this is how the old one looked. It's quite a similar board. You have the fields, scarecrow here, and some woods. And I think the participants are the same as well. Maggot and his dogs. There's more ruffians in the new one, I believe. 2 ruffians, 1 with whip, 3 with bow. So there's 2 ruffians, 1 with a whip, and 3 with bow. And in the old one, there's 1 with bow and 4 with a whip. So similar. Yeah, and it's a similar thing. You get the evil has to get ruffians off. So it's quite similar, but it looks like it's been slightly updated. Next up is the old mill. This again doesn't have a counterpart in the old one either. There's a 2x2 board. You have a path going up to the mill. No river, so I'm assuming the water's here, but I still want to make this and put this here, even though you're only using this bit here. It's hobbits. You have a profile of Ted Sandyman, which we'll look at in a minute, and ruffians, so that's pretty good. It looks like in this that it's not just straight battles, there's objectives that need to be completed, so most of the time it looks like you're working on different objectives and so forth, so that's pretty good. So in this one, just quickly, the evil's trying to get into the mill and the good's trying to kill the evil, so 2 different objectives, and I always like that, rather than just everyone's working for the same thing. The next one is the Mayor's Arrest. Again, this is, no, I can't really think of a counterpart in this. I don't think there's going to be many by the looks of things. Counterparts, but it's a 2x2 board, some hobbit holes. You have Will Whitfoot, which is a new profile, which is the Mayor of Hobbiton, which I actually wrote. There's a profile on the Tales of Middle-earth site, so we'll look at that, compare that when we get to the profile section. Hobbit Militia. There's a character called Sid Briarfall, which is a ruffian chief, and some ruffians. So that's going to be nice. We're going to get some characters for the ruffians. The Death of Lothro, again 2x2 board, somewhat similar to before, just less hobbit holes. You have Lothro on this one, and then you have Worm and ruffians. So that's pretty cool. I like that. The Burning of Woody End. Again, there's no real. They really haven't got just rehashed the old scenarios. I am liking this. I guess there might be some that's similar in theme, but apart from Maggot's Farm, which is a great scenario anyway, so I don't mind that one being included, they all seem to be new. Baldo Tuppenny, another new profile, some Hobbits, Rowan Thistlewood, which is another new profile for the Ruffians, and a load of Ruffians on the evil side, and kind of like in the picture, got Dunlendings here standing in for Ruffians. That's pretty cool. Uprooting the Bagshot Row, again another new scenario. This is excellent. So it's set by Bagshot Row, so you have Bagshot Row here, 2x2 board. Hamfast, you're getting the Gaffer as a profile, brilliant. Some Militia, Bill Fernie and Ruffians, which is great. And again, it all seems to be different objectives. Good killing Bill, evil side, if they can reduce good to a certain percentage, brilliant. The Arrest of Falco Boffin, 2x2 board, again, loving this. Some hobbit holes and paths and roads, brilliant, because that's what the current terrain season's all about. So we're making all this so you can set your board up, brilliant. Falco Boffin as a new profile, and Wholefoot Brace Girdle as a profile. Robin Smallborough, another profile as evils. This is Hobbit v Hobbit, that's going to be fun. So I take it you're not really killing them, but probably knocking them out and arresting them, hence the name. The Old Storehouse, yes, finally, this is one that is an old one, I believe. Yep, it is. So in this one you have Baldo Tuppenny, Fredigar Bolger. I've got a profile of that on the site so we can look at that, compare how well I did. And some Ruffian Hobbits. You have Rowan Thistlewood again and some Ruffians. So we got some. So it looks like it's going to be quite similar. You can sort of see here it's starting in the corners, some storehouses. But on this one, of course, it was just 4 sheriffs, 4 militia, and some ruffians. So quite boring, really. And it looks slightly different. I can't just look at it because you had this sentry movement. So I guess it might say the sentry is now in the main rules, so they don't have to have this. But it looks like it's similar but different, which is cool. So that's an updated one. The Bounders Strike Back. This is on a 4x4 in a foresty board. In a minute my cat's going to jump on and join the review, which is brilliant. It's just what you want. A big furry beast. Here he comes. Around the outskirts, probably hear him purring into the mic. So he's just sitting by me. That's brilliant. So cheers, Hobes. The cat's called Hobo. So that's good. So what we got here anyway? Turkish hunters and ruffians. So a nifty little small scenario, but the traps come into play on this. So I think that is going to be similar. Yeah, actually. There's a scenario called Beating the Bounds, which in this one was Hobbits and Archers with traps in. Similar type board. In this one you get to stop ruffians getting off the board. Yeah, so that the Bounders Strike Back is kind of a remake of Beating the Bounds. Brook Borings, so I think this one was an older one as well. Yep, it is indeed. Brook Borings. You can see here, similar sort of layout. You have a meeting house. Again, you had Fredigar Bolger. You're going back to earlier on. He's an old profile, isn't he? What am I talking about? Yeah, so the Beadle and Fredigar and 8 militia. It's the same on the old one. Whereas in the old one you had Sharky and Worm with ruffians. In this one it's Bill Fernie with ruffians. So that's sort of nicer, I guess. That makes sense. Yeah, it's not Fredigar, I can't believe I said that. I'm just overwhelmed by how cool this is, I think. The Lock Holes is a 4x4 board and involves Paladin Took, Baldo Tuppenny, Lobelia, Fredigar, and some Hobbits. And on the other evil side there is Roaring Thistlewood and some Ruffians. Now this rings a bell as well, the Lock Holes. So was this an old one? So we're just going to have a quick flip through. Have a look in the contents. It's actually quite difficult to do this review because I'm flipping back and trying to remember. It's not, and I really do remember one. Let's have a quick. Storehouse. Do you remember one like this? Unless it appeared in White Dwarf. It could be. No, okay. So I thought I remember a Lockhole one, but there's not. Storehouse. We're going through. Might have appeared in White Dwarf, or I may just be imagining it. Most likely that. Attack and Tookborough. So a 4x4 board again, so we're getting bigger, which I don't mind. It looks like there's layout, objective markers. Brilliant, I always love objective markers. It's an excuse to make some Hobbit objective markers, I guess. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Hobbit objective markers, I think, coming up. Paladin took Baldo Tutpenny with Hobbits, Sid Briarthorn, and some Ruffians. Old Cotton's Farm, definitely a new one. 2x2, so we're back to going small. Not a problem with that. You have Meriadoc here, Frodo, Samwise, Farmer Talmor Cotton. The Gaffer is on this one, and some Hobbits versus Roaring Thistlewood and some Ruffians. The Battle of Bywater. Now this definitely appeared in the old one. This is on the 2x2 board, whereas the old one appeared on a 2x3 board. That's the old one here. But a similar sort of layout. You have Hobbit holes either side, road going down the middle with a barricade, evil deploying here and good deploying there. Just don't need much. 3x2 is always a weird setup anyway. Totally different forces really, because you've got more in this, or is it? Let's have a look. So it's Frodo, Peregrine, yep, because you're having Farmer Cotton here, Holfoot Bracegirdle, Robin Smallborough, yeah, so it's got all loads of characters and personalities versus Sharky Worm, Sid Briarthorn, and some Ruffians. So I think this is going to be better. Just looking at the special rules, yeah, it has the mob rule, yada yada. I think this one's going to play better. Can't wait to get playing this. Next up, it's going to be the Shire campaign, which all our expansion books now come with these, so you can link them together in a campaign. So if evil wins, they get a little bonus. Good wins, they get a bonus, depending. So that's really cool. So it links them all together. Onto the armies now. We have the Shire, because in the army book you already have a Shire army, and nothing that changed. All that's still valid. The difference is you get the additional profiles. And what they're doing now in the army book, in the supplements, you get strengths and weaknesses and key models. That's really nice. I like that. So our new profiles are, hopefully you can't see these, I've got the lighting right so you can't see the stats and that, but it's Farmer Talmor Cotton, Rosie Cotton. Now this is one I dig right, so let's have a quick look, quick compare to the one I wrote. I'm going to say obviously theirs is going to be way better than mine. I actually can't find mine. Perhaps I didn't write one. I only did Will Whitford. Sure. Oh, I made a model. Oh god, I'm just so overwhelmed. So yeah, let's have a look while we're here. Will Whitford was one that I wrote. So let's have a look. He's a better fighter than I made him. Strength's the same, defense the same. Also, he's got better courage here than what I gave him, and way more might, will, and fate. I only gave him 2 fate, and at 20 points, he's 30 points here. I gave him a special rule of the mayor, which was if an opponent calls a heroic action, except for a heroic march, within 6 inches, Will automatically counters it, yada yada. Whereas this one is more bannery type base, so totally different. Probably this one is better than mine. Folkhold Boffin, excellent. Holfoot Bracegirdle is a sheriff leader. which is brilliant. You can see armies of hobbits going on. I love playing the Hobbit army. I've done it so many times. Very difficult to get a decent Hobbit army because really you've only got 4 choices of heroes. This has given us way more. Robin Smallborough, who's a Hobbit sheriff. The Gaffer, Hamfast Gaffer Gamgee. Baldo Tallpenny, Lothal Sackville Baggins. I really hope. Are we getting models of all these? I really hope we do. I'm terribly excited. I'm going to be poor. Sharky's Rogues again is everything that's in the army book is there. It actually doesn't list everything that's in the army book, just all the new stuff. And hello, cat. Hello. Hello. You want to purr into the mic, do you? So anyway, on this we have Sid Briarthorn. He's a ruffian chief, and the cat's well interested. Rowan Thistlewood, a ruffian enforcer. Bill Fernie, and Ted Sandyman. Which is cool. I need to turn the page, Hopes. I need to turn the page. I need to turn the page. Okay. Next up is the Legendary Legion section. We saw these start appearing in other supplements such as Gondor at War. Yeah, I'm gonna give you dreamies in a minute, cat. Oh, I love my cat, really. And so in the Legendary Legions we have Defenders of the Shire, so this is a pretty cool list here with additional rules. What are the additional rules? It's what we've seen, what we expect really. Hobbit Militia in Merry's Warband can be upgraded to battling binding books. Archers in Perry's can be Tookish Hunters. So that's pretty cool. And there's loads of special rules here. Fear fire foes. Get the woodland creature special rule. Hobbits of the Shire, laying in wait and ambush, which I believe will probably be trapping. Nope, it's not. It's not. So we won't go into them because that will be giving rules away. Next up is the Chief's Ruffians. So that's quite nice. Special rules: do what Sharky says, Sharky's Wrath, the Chief's Whips, and the Chief's Commands. So again, I don't want to give too much away here, but they're pretty cool. The section on traps makes a return. Now this is good because these were something that was in the old one. Not the mic. It's in here, and has a little small section of making traps, but this one it's a bit nicer. It still has the making, but it goes into them in a bit more detail, and I've made a load of traps years ago, so it's nice that these have made a return. And we've got how to build a hobbit hole using Forge World's excellent bit of scenery, which I shall be reviewing as well soon. And I'm going to be making a hobbit hole, but mine will be made a different technique as this. There's no point in going via this because you've got this here. What's the point? I'll be showing you a different technique. There's always alternative ways you can do things. And the final result looks really cool though. I like that. Mine probably won't look as good, but I'd do it a different technique. Next up we get the Appendix. This is sort of going into the history of the Shire really, and brilliant. First things first, Golfimble makes a return. This was a wicked profile. Again, that first came into play in the old one, and then quickly got removed. I believe there was some sort of licensing issue because he was more Hobbit-y than Lord of the Ringsy. But he got removed, and that was really upsetting because I loved Golfimble. The model's really cool, so I'm imagining the model's making a return, which is good because if you don't own him, you should buy him. Definitely go and buy him. I can't actually find the old profile now in the old book. Oh, there he is. Let's see if he's improved in any shape or form. No, he's the old beloved profile we know and love. The difference is, the old one had no special rules. He has a special rule called Impressive Girth. which is if he suffers a wound, roll a d6 on a certain result. The wound is ignored, like exactly if a fate's been spent. I'm not going to tell you the result there for that. That's pretty cool. I like that. So he's even better now. Beautiful. So the first scenario is the Battle of Greenfields. Originally in the old appendix they had a made-up scenario called the Founding of the Shire, which is a pretty cool scenario actually. So that's not in here. So we're going straight to the Battle of Greenfields. We also in the old one had Whatever Happened to How Fast, which is a fun little scenario set in the Barrow Downs. Battle of Greenfields, here we are. It is a sort of rehash of an older one, same picture. On this one it's 4x2, this one was same 4x2, it's just rotated like so. Similar sort of setup, houses, woods. The old one had Bandorbrust, some rangers and some hobbits, and Goldfinball and some warg riders. This is somewhat similar, really, in composition. In fact, I would say, it's 6 and 6 here. You get 4 with one, 4 with another, and 4 with another. So still 12 warg riders, just different more options. So that's pretty cool. Wolves of Winter, that is another old one. I was actually going to play this last December during our sort of winter month, but never got around to it. So I'm hoping to get it done for this year. Same picture, same layout. Gandalf the Grey and some hobbits. White Warg Chief and Warg. So yeah, that's pretty much a rehash. Not in a bad way, don't mean that in a bad way. It was a good scenario, so good to see that come back. Probably slightly updated for the new rules, of course. So that's pretty cool. Road to Rivendell, I believe that is an old one again. Different picture this time. Much prefer that new picture compared to the old one. Don't know, it just looks more. They're both pretty cool pictures. Same layout, sort of 4x4 hilly woody board. Bilbo, Aragorn, and some wood elves. Yep, and a load of warg riders and orcs here. Beforehand, it was Moria goblins. This time it's orcs. Makes much more sense. I don't know why Moria goblins. And that is it. That's the end of that. Ends on the Wicked map. Yeah, so that is the Scouring of the Shire. I love that. That is brilliant. I'm totally excited to get playing that, and I want to get building. Well, I've already started building terrain. You should have a look at in the channel already. I want to build more, so there's going to be more terrain that I originally had planned looking at this. I want to get some objective markers done. Yeah, brilliant. Sorry, I'm recording this on the hottest day of the year, and possibly going down as the hottest day ever on record. So I've had to close the windows for all the traffic noise, and now I'm dying. But yeah, highly recommended. You know, for the price as well, pretty darn cool. Didn't have to count scenarios. It tells me right there. There's 13. Brilliant. Yeah, excellent. Yeah, so that is my review of the Scouring of the Shire. I highly recommend it. It's probably my favourite one that's been released. Not had that many on the new rules, but prefer this to the Gondor one, mainly because the scenarios are much more me. They're much more small, character-driven, objective-based scenarios, which I kind of like, rather than big battles. Some people might like that, but if you like big battles, probably this isn't for you. If you like just big, getting models on the table and fighting out, don't get it. Don't get this one. If you haven't got it already, get the Gondor supplement. But if, like me, you like smaller, character-driven, objective-based games, this is for you. It's you know, it's a reason why I like battle companies. This is almost, you know, battle companies without the battle companies, really. Yeah, highly recommended. I should just say I paid for this myself. This is not a review copy. Games Workshop did not send this to me to review. I bought it, so my opinion is my own. Even if they did send it to me for free, I would still be my own. If I didn't like it, I'd say, but just should clarify that just to be open and honest. Yeah, I'm kind of I'm gonna end this review now and get reading it a bit more in depth, get making some stuff. Yeah, this has really fired me up and love for the hobby. So yeah, boom, Scouring of the Shire. Thanks for watching, we hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button and leave a comment. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Stick with the channel for many great videos to come.